Greetings, my name is Stacy Aquero, and I'm an international admissions counselor from Stony Brook University. Today I'm going to talk to you about the common application, in particular about the additional essay and COVID essay topics. What is the additional essay, and why should I complete it, or do I need to complete it? Essentially, the additional essay is a section where you have the ability to write up to 650 words, anything that might not have been included in your application essay, extracurricular activities, or any other part of your application that is being submitted. It is optional and can be left blank. Therefore, if you do not have any additional information in your application to include, you do not need to include it. How do you know if you should fill it out? Again, if you have something else to say, but it is not in any other part of your application, you are going to want to complete this section. Examples might be circumstances that have led to a significant drop in your grades, or if you've stopped attending any kind of activity. What should you say or include if you need to add something? These issues can be health issues, any kind of family issue. You might have moved to a new school. When you are writing about these topics, you should include how long the issue was, when it started, and when it has stopped. Other things that you might want to include, if they are not included in per se your transcripts or school profile, is if you did something like an IB thesis or any kind of major research. It only needs to be about 2 or 3 sentences and just include the topic of your research and a little bit about it. What to say and what not to say. You really want to make sure that you're keeping to the facts and how it has impacted you academically and or socially. Example might be the stress of moving to a new city and a new school. Maybe that was taught in a new language was a challenge for you. You were unable to therefore focus, and it might have taken you longer to study. Maybe you have a long commute to school and it is impacting your ability and time to study. Those can all be examples of what the facts are and how it has changed your grades. You really want to be careful not to make excuses. Excuse me. We don't want you to say things like you might have stopped attending an activity because you did not like the teacher. There are certain things that are expected. People join activities and then stop them because they're no longer interested. They have a new pursuit. All of those things will be in your activity sheet and don't need to be re-explained. Another thing that does not need to be explained is if you're an A student and you have one grade that is somewhat of a B grade, you do not need to explain a drop in just one course. Again, you are not going to want to repeat anything you've already said in your essay or list of extracurricular activities. However, in the activities area, there's not always a place for a description. Therefore, if you have an activity that is of something that's not very known, maybe it's specific to your school or your region or your religious affiliation, and you have conducted some kind of program or tremendous activity within that group, this is a perfect place where you can have, again, a 2 to 3 sentence description of the activity and your involvement in that activity. You probably will want to include the length of time you've spent doing it and a brief description of that. What are some of the other things you should know about this? School change. You do not need to list your school change unless it has impacted you. You can list your prior high school in the education section. Be prepared to submit transcripts from each school, even if your new school has those grades on the transcripts. Some schools will like to see it from the original school. In particular, if there are different grading scales, Often it is like deceit from the original school. If you want to submit whether your regular essay or your additional essay in different formats to different schools, then you will need to revise and edit each time you submit to a new school. If not, you can just submit and the same information will be sent to each school that you submit. Can you write about more than one topic in the additional essay? Oops. And that is yes. So if you have a couple of different scenarios that I just kind of went over and talked about, you can absolutely use them. You might want to separate them by spaces and kind of include a little header or topic to say what you are talking about. Now on to the COVID essay. Do I have to answer this? It will ask you if you want to share any information that has occurred during COVID that might have impacted you. You can select no if you do not have anything to say in regards to this. This is a section where there's only 250 words or less. You use this to potentially report illness, perhaps the loss of a family member or somebody very close to you that has impacted your ability to study or to complete certain assignments and or activities. If your parents had a loss of job, if there's been a shift in obligation to you because of COVID, you might want to explain any of this specifically related to COVID. The other thing that you may wish to include is if your school is not including any kind of information on the profile about changes to instruction, meaning if you're hybrid, if you're online, any grading scales that might have changed, pass-fail classes, any graduation requirements that might not have changed or might have changed if you're using predicted scores, canceling of any classes. The other thing you can include is if extracurriculars have been canceled in particular, or other larger projects that might have been canceled and would have impacted you, to include that in your extracurricular activities. So that is the space where you would be able to use that. I hope that answers your questions on most of the additional essay topics for the Common Application. To give you a little bit of information about Stony Brook, Stony Brook University is a large comprehensive research university. We are ranked in the top 1% of universities in the world, with over 26,000 students on campus, over 17,000 undergraduate students on campus, over 4,600 international students hailing from over 100 countries. We offer more than 200 academic undergraduate majors at Stony Brook. Some of our popular majors include, from the College of Arts and Sciences, your history, your English, your global studies, psychology, economics, mathematics, sociology, and of course your natural sciences, your biology, your chemistry, your physics. Our College of Engineering and Applied Sciences will include your computer science, your electrical engineering, computer engineering, biomedical engineering, civil engineering, just to name a few. We have business programs in accounting, finance, marketing, management, journalism and communication arts programs, and School of Marine and Atmospheric Science programs, things like environmental studies, environmental design, marine science, of course, sustainability studies, programs that really impact climate change and coastal water changes. Stony Brook University uses the Common Application, the Coalition Application, or the SUNY application, which we are a part of, SUNY or SUNY, which is the State University of New York system as a public university of New York. You would apply for fall 22 by January 15th. Those applications will become available come August. You would submit your application as well as your transcripts. Students are required to submit English proficiency if you are in an English speaking school. That will be enough for your English proficiency. If not, Duolingo, TOEFL, IELTS, IB, A-level English, all accepted. You can check out our website for additional requirements at www.stonybrooku.edu. www.stonybrook.edu. Stony Brook's location is about 1 hour from New York City. We have a train station on campus that will take you right into Manhattan. Otherwise, we are in a residential suburban community about an hour from New York City, 2 miles from the beaches, very safe neighborhood. There's so much that I can tell you about Stony Brook, and look forward to connecting with you one day. Do feel free to contact me at stacy.aguero@stonybrook.edu for more information. Thank you.